What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another Monday. So you know what that means.
More you know Mondays.
We're getting there, man.
What's up, Lucrucis?
Is Les Cruz here already? I didn't see him.
He is. He popped
Les
in.
Cruz, what's up, buddy?
Always first one here.
That's awesome, man. Again, I just threw this up, so I always appreciate you, man. I gotta find out. I was about to throw up the intro, but I just reminded me. Yeah, I still have the old intro, don't I? Tell me if I got the wrong one here.
That's all right. I need to upload. I need to upload the latest one to Trello, so we'll have it.
Oh man, thank you, Les Cruces, for joining us today. We're gonna do another quick little episode here. I'm gonna start a series. We're gonna start diving into some characters, and of course, it's always fun to dive into the villains first because without a good villain, the heroes are kind of sucky. So we're gonna dive into some villains today. But first off, Shelby, man, how was the weekend?
Oh, not bad, not bad. Just usual of trying to wade through boxes of comic books, trying to get some things. Well, you saw I kind of did a little bit of work on a new website, and
Yep, very sharp.
Just trying to figure out what the heck we're doing sometimes. Oh, thank you, Lucrucis.
Thank you, buddy, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, just trying to figure out these avenues to bring some comics to the fans, and trying to weed down, my collection and stuff, so.
Yeah, man, I saw you started moving everything over to your extra comic book room now. So I thought we were going to see this background. I thought we were going to see the comic book room today.
I was planning on it, but I got behind on all that. I started sorting books, and there's just so many of them, dude. It's just so many of them. It's
never ending.
It is. I just need to, yeah. I don't know. I mean, hopefully maybe some of these other sales channels and stuff, you and I have been exploring, can help alleviate some of that. So
I don't know. Even if you pare down your stuff, you're still going to have a whole bunch, man.
Probably so. There's still another whole warehouse to get to.
Another whole warehouse. I love it, man.
Yeah.
All right. So
anyway, how about you? What'd you do this weekend?
Same thing, man. Just trying to organize everything. Got another small little collection that I bought. So just trying to process all that stuff and get everything going from there. And just hanging out, having a good time with the weather change and all that. So, getting the house ready for that. So nothing special, man. All right, let me get this set up here. All right, we're good to go. Like I said, this is going to be a quick one. And then you guys let us know if you like this kind of thing. So I'm just going to brush over a little bit of what we're kind of talking about here for this dive into some heroes and villains. And if you guys want to see a deeper dive, we can certainly do that. But again, I started making an outline, especially with someone as big as Thanos. And man, you can go down that rabbit hole for a while. Let's see here. There we go. We got Thanos. Yeah, I mean, obviously,
I don't know if it sounds like that or not, but
well, when I was trying to think of the first one to do, obviously, I wanted to do a villain first, and I had a list of villains I wanted to talk about, but obviously with the MCU popular and everything, we got to talk about Thanos. Because there's always some debate of people saying, well, the MCU Thanos is totally different than the comic book one, and his powers were different and motivation was different. His motivation in the movie actually makes more sense than in the comic books. the comic books make him seem a little more crazier than the actual MCU made him more humanized. That's always the best villains, really, when you think about it, is they've got you can see their point of view and you can sympathize with them a little bit and say, okay, from their point of view, they're trying to do the right thing. In the movies, Thanos is trying to do the right thing in his eyes. He's trying to sacrifice some for the greater good, kind of thing, and the worlds will be a better place. Comic books, not so much like that. All right, so Thanos. Let's talk about Thanos right here. Of course, we know his first appearance, Invincible Iron Man 55. Of course, not the greatest cover for if you want a Thanos first appearance type of thing, but obviously an iconic comic book, obviously a very expensive comic book by Jim Starlin. So obviously he did the artwork and he did the writing as well. And he said he wanted to really copy the New Gods, DC's New Gods. And he actually was trying to go for the original sketch, original drawing was more towards not Darkseid. He was a lot skinnier, and he was looking more of why am I drawing a blank? Tim, what's up, Tim? Appreciate you coming by, hanging out with us as we talk a little bit about some Thanos here. Who's the guy in the chair? Like Metro? I'm drawing a blank his name. In the New Gods, DC's New Gods.
Oh yeah, I don't get me trying to name
Metro something. I forget his name. Anyway, he looked more like him in the beginning than actual Darkseid. And so when you looked at it, and I found the stat, I love how there are these stats that come out. You can find I don't know how true they are or not, but supposedly Thanos is 6'7" and weighs about 1,000 pounds. So he's a big beefy boy right there. And you know me, I love my cover appearances, my first cover appearance. So while Invincible Iron Man is the book to get for first appearance, I always like going after the first cover appearance. Yep. And even first cover appearances can be some gray area. So Captain Marvel 28 is his first cover appearance, if you want to call it that. You see his face obviously back there. His first full doesn't happen for another couple issues later. But that's his first cover appearance if you'd like to collect those like I do.
Yeah, now wasn't there an annual or something he was in too?
Yeah, he had a couple of partial cover. He had like 2 or 3 partial cover appearances before he had a first full cover appearance. Just talking about cover appearances, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first full one I think is issue 33. I think is his first full.
Okay.
We don't get actually a full-blown origin of Thanos until we get to Thanos Rising. So you got all those years. Obviously, he started all the way back in 73, and you got partial origins here and there. You know how they always retcon everything. Gog, what is up, buddy? Appreciate you coming by hanging out with us as well, man. Gog, always supporting the channel and supporting us. We appreciate you, buddy, along with Tim over here. And of course,
Todd.
The man, the myth, the legend, the Les Crucis, winner of all giveaways.
Yeah, since we're talking about Thanos, I'll be right back. Go ahead.
You got to take a Thanos dump? What are you doing?
No, keep going. Keep going.
Okay, all right, we're going to keep going here. So, quick origin of Thanos right here. Obviously, he was born on Titan, as we know in the Eternals movies and everything. He is actually an Eternal. His parents were Eternals, but he was born with that deviant gene in there. So, as we all kind of know right now, the Celestials came down and they altered the human DNA. So, they created Eternals, they created deviants. And then sometimes Eternals can have these bursts of deviance in there with these deviant genes in there. So when you get to this origin of what kind of makes Thanos tick, which is by Jason Aaron, which obviously he does some amazing runs, especially on his Thor run, is one of my favorite Thor runs there is. Basically, he was abused as a kid because he looked different than everyone else. He was basically, he was the mutant there. Everyone else looked like perfect eternal gods, perfection. And then you have him. So he was a mutant outcast. So you can imagine he was picked on, he was abused. His mother tried to kill him when he was born. So that whole thing, we've all been there. So when he was little, he met death and death was nice to him. And that was the beginning of his whole obsession of he wanted to please death. And since death was the only one that understood him. So to kind of go in with that and why Jim Starlin even created Thanos like that, I got this down there. Starlin took a lot of psychiatry classes, and he was really interested in the psychology and the concepts of Eros and Thanatos about the drive for living and death. So after he took these classes, that's when he doodled down a character design, which didn't look a whole lot supposedly like Thanos we know now. He said the chin was already there, the chin stayed the same, and he put Thanos under it because he was obsessed with kind of this whole. If all these people are obsessed with life, and there's got to be some people obsessed with death, and that's where he kind of started coming up with this concept of Thanos back when he was in college. So we want to talk about some of the power sets. Again, we were talking about earlier before the show started. There seems to be a lot of confusion of what his power sets are, and depending on what writer seems to be taking him over, his power sets are all over the board of what he could potentially do. But basically, he can go toe to. And again, we're going to talk about the Thanos without all of the the gadgets that he goes for. Almost all the stories surrounding Thanos, it's him chasing the Cosmic Cube or the Infinity Gauntlet, the Infinity Gems, or the Heart of the Universe. He's always trying to get one of these cosmic level powers so he can appease death and pretty much kill as many people as humanly possible. So we're talking him without any of the extra stuff in there, just him mano a mano versus anyone. What does his powers look like, and how does he stack up? So he can go toe-to-toe with pretty much anyone, for the most part. He can go toe-to-toe with the Hulk. Again, we're not talking World Breaker Hulk. We're talking baseline Hulk. He goes toe-to-toe with him, not taking any damage. He's toe-to-toe with Thor. He took on Thor, Thing, Silver Surfer, all of them at the same time without anything special. Took no damage and actually laughed, about that. So he took on Thor when Thor had the Power Stone in him. So Thor holding a Power Stone, hitting him with Mjolnir, and Thanos just stood there and smiled. So he is a full-blown, everything that you get from the Eternals, plus the Deviants on there. He has all that, and all this extra ability, which we're not entirely sure. They never really kind of go into how he gets all these other abilities. But his invulnerability is obviously off the chart. He can take all this damage. He takes full blasts of the power cosmic. He gets absolutely nothing. He shakes off. He walks off. He's been blown up where there's nothing left but a skeleton, and he regenerates back. So his regeneration is off the charts. He takes on Galactus. He doesn't do as much damage to Galactus, but he obviously broke Galactus's helmet in one battle. Galactus couldn't destroy Thanos. So, I mean, his level without anything else is way up there. And that's just his power strength for that. He also has energy manipulation. That's what I was talking about. He went toe-to-toe with Galactus on there. He's turned people to stone. He's used it to stop Thor's hammer and Beta Ray Bill Stormbreaker's hammer in mid-flight. He has all kinds of other powers which you don't see a whole lot into, including, telepathy, including supreme intelligence. That's one thing that, they talked a little bit about in the MCU is his intelligence level. He is a master strategy. He's a master technology. He's very cunning. He's tricked Mephisto. He's tricked some of the Loki. He's tricked some of the tricksters, in the Marvel universe here. How about when Doctor ripped his spine out? Yeah, all that. Drax, talking about. I mean, he recovers from all those, and we'll talk about the Annihilation series. We're only going to talk about 2 storylines here, but man, he can recover from absolutely anything. And of course, if you read Donny Cates' runs and everything, he actually lasts all the way through the end of time as well. But he's a strong telepath, which a lot of people don't even know. So he's overpowered Moondragon. He overpowered the Fallen One and actually convinced him to be part of his Herald. You were grabbing something, weren't you? Or did you want to show something? I'm sorry, I've just been talking.
No, I was gonna wait till a little bit. No, but one thing I was thinking about is like, you were mentioning some of his early stuff, and I probably best knew Thanos as with like the Cosmic Cube. Like when I first saw the. I get, we call it the Tesseract in the MCU.
Right.
But, as soon as I saw that, it's like, oh, man, it's the Cosmic Cube, because that was some of my favorite stories was Thanos going after the Cosmic Cube.
Yeah.
In the 70s and 80s and such, long before. Well, I guess not long before, because then the Infinity War and
Right, once you got in the early
and all of
90s.
that was in the mid to late 80s, and such. But yeah, those Cosmic Cube stories are great. I think there were several in Marvel 2-in-1, if I remember right,
Yep. Yep.
that are super great. I think he teamed up with like Magneto or something. And yeah, need to really seek out those.
Yeah, those are great. Like we're talking about earlier, the annual, which is an awesome annual that was he was in. But yeah, and Jim Starlin admits this, and the reason why a lot of these cosmic stories were very trippy is Jim Starlin was on acid, so he's admitted to doing that. So that's why the stories sometimes get a little bit out there, and why they kind of let Jim Starlin do his thing over there. So as Jim Starlin's popularity grew, and then waned through all that stuff, that's the popularity of Thanos grew. So when I'll talk about this in a minute, but once kind of Starlin stepped away, got clean a little bit, no one else took on Thanos. No one else kind of wanted to. So Thanos kind of dropped off popularity until, like we said, the early 90s when he came back on board and Infinity Gauntlet came out. And we'll talk about that in 1 second right here. But
Yeah.
Go for it.
Well, I was just trying to. I was trying to think of who the writers were, in like because you had several starts and goes with the Silver Surfer, and I think that's kind of where he comes back at one time, is through the Silver Surfer, and then
Yep,
through
that's how most people, if you want to call it our age or anything, really, you either started with the Marvel premieres and everything when you had Adam Warlock, and he was kind of tied into Thanos a little bit in some of those Avenger runs. But really, most people get familiar with him when he got reintroduced back in that Ron Lim.
the Ron Lim stuff. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
That's where he got brought back in. That's when he went after the Infinity Stones, and that's when Starlin came back in and did Infinity Gauntlet and tied that all up. So that's where most people kind of get familiar with the reintroduction of Thanos and how they picture Thanos now was during that run. So that was kind of the iconic run right there.
Yeah.
We got SCG in the building. What is up,
Hey,
Southern Comic? What's up, buddy?
Comic royalty.
Is the Silver Surfer cartoons Thanos was a coward? They did him dirty in the cartoon. For sure. Thanos is a badass. There's no doubt about that. And like I said, some of his other powers, which again, you don't hear about a whole lot, and they never really explain how, but he can teleport through the portals, so he can create these portals and teleport through. Obviously, we know his healing is off the chart. He's got some occult type powers, so he had that storyline where he actually cursed Deadpool, where Deadpool cannot die. What's the Thanos chopper? Yep, I think you've got that issue, don't you, Shelby?
I do have that issue. Yeah, of Spidey Super Stories.
Yep. No one can beat Thanos except for Squirrel Girl and the New York Police Department. The only two people that can defeat Thanos. So his power levels, again, his powers are off the chart of what he can do. And then kind of talking from Starlin and what kind of he saw the purpose of all this, and kind of what I just mentioned about some of the acid trips he was on. His stories were more metaphysical, more acid trippy. He used to say he really should be pictured. He's rarely depicted as rageful or sullen. He's usually eerily calm, has a near constant smirk on his face. He's a confident nihilist. You can't negotiate with him. He has nothing to lose. When he's written well, he's about as chilling a pulp villain as you can get. That's what Starlin was trying to do. He wanted to make him kind of the ultimate kind of bad guy as far as that goes. And it's true. If you've got someone you can't negotiate, he doesn't care. He wants to die. He wants to kill everyone. And he's insanely intelligent, as we said, and cunning, and has the technology. I mean, he really is the ultimate bad guy when you talk about the top tier. I mean, what other bad guys would you put above him?
And you already named off Galactus. And then anybody else really wouldn't be necessarily bad guys. Like
and I don't even consider Galactus a bad guy.
Yeah,
because he's not doing it. He's eating. He's surviving. It's what he is. He's not doing things that are good or bad for the most part. He wants to feed. So I don't think he has
True.
evil intentions. I wouldn't call him a bad guy. Like I said, he's a cosmic force. That's what he does. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I always picture Glenn.
No, no, no. I agree, and I think that's kind of the become the norm, right? Of villains is to almost humanize them over the years.
Right. And that's what we talked about. That's what makes a really good villain is
Yeah,
if you can see their point of view and it makes sense. Like a
yeah,
Magneto, he's trying to take care of the mutant population. They're being
yeah.
picked on. They're being slaughtered. They're hunted. He's protecting them. Doctor Doom sometimes will do something similar like that. But that's where you kind of get a lot of you empathize with them saying, okay, I can see where he's coming from. Thanos doesn't have that. Thanos is like, I'm just going to kill everyone because I want to. It's really hard. That's why they changed that story in the MCU to make him more like humanized, to give him that empathy where he really thinks he's doing the right thing here. Apocalypse is another top tier one. Absolutely. First mutant. I agree with that. All right, so we're gonna cover, like I said, two main stories. Like Shelby said, really most people got introduced with him back in the Silver Surfer, then tying into the Infinity Gauntlet. So that really was kind of like the pinnacle of Jim Starlin's back in Marvel here. That's the popularity of Thanos, and really that whole cosmic universe entities, and it really is the popularity came from there. And we'll see the next story in a little bit. But obviously, that was done by Starlin Perez, Ron Lim, and pretty much the basic story. If you have not read this, this is one of the all-time classics, must-reads. You can pick up a trade paperback. Even the main issues are not that expensive. You can pick up the whole run for still pretty cheap. But that obviously you got iconic artwork, iconic covers, and just a great story. And I love the story because the fact it really starts off with everything screwed right from the very beginning.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like you pick up, okay, he's going to go around and collect the gems. We got to stop him. Like, no, it starts off with he has the gems. He's going to destroy everything right now. Try and stop him. It's already done.
Yeah. I mean, I remember picking this up. Actually, I owned a store when this came out, and yeah, that first issue, and of course, I'm a huge George Perez fan. I was just looking at this Teen Titans today. It's nothing big, just Teen Titans.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And George Perez art, like you said, just from right there, issue 1, snap. And you're watching this from all these different points of views. From the Avengers mansion. People just disappear, and it's like, what the hell? As a comic book reader, it's like, wow, half of everybody just gone. And I mean, I agree. I mean, I think it had almost the same impact as like the first of the first Thanos movie. And you're thinking, okay, this first movie is gonna be them, and maybe he gets a few of the stones, and then you'll stop him from getting the stones
Right.
in the second movie. And it's like, no. He wipes out everybody in the first movie. It's like, what the hell just happened? And that's the same way it was with the comic book, though.
Yep.
Reading that, I mean, it was so powerful, man.
Yeah,
So amazing.
And like I said, the crazy part of it is it's the logic. The reason why is just because he loves death. He wants to impress death.
He wants to impress death. And how better to impress death than to,
what's up, Shutter?
to give her
the whole thing. We're used to seeing, like I said, villains with this backstory of why you're doing a certain thing, and really, he's got death standing next to him the whole time. He's got death basically cornered, and he's like, "Look what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to kill all these people. I'm going to make my own girlfriend if you're going to spurn me." Then, so he makes his own girlfriend right next to him, and he makes out with her.
Right, because she does. She kind of ignores them after he does that, you know?
Yep, she keeps ignoring
And
him.
yeah, and well, it's kind of weird, you know, because she never talks or anything. I mean, it's very odd, but you know, it's still a great story. So
Yeah, and it makes you think if his motivation was a little bit more like the MCU, would this story be even more popular? Because it did have that little kind of goofy aspect of he's just trying to impress death and kill everyone.
yeah,
Would have been even more popular? Maybe, I don't know, because that always did kind of sit a little weird with me that that
yeah,
was his whole motivation right there, and she's standing and he's just trying to impress her, doing all this stuff and killing everyone, and of course in this you also get the resurrection of Warlock and Pip and Gamora all come back during this time as well.
yes, because they were trapped inside
The
um
Soul World.
the Soul Gem.
Yep. Yeah, they were trapped in there. They get free from there. You know, Nebula comes back. He brings Nebula back. Nebula ends up taking the Infinity Gauntlet. You know, and she becomes God for a short time as well. So it's still a great read. And again, one of the all-time best limited series that you can possibly get, especially from the
Yeah,
'90s. There, so you got to read this one if you're not.
yeah,
The other one, so you kind of want to bookend. Again, there's other stories. Obviously, you're talking about that. I mean, you got Infinity War. You know, it's the cool Perillo cover right there. Infinity Wars Prime. He's been a ton of other stories, but the really two ones that I want to kind of highlight it with in here is really this one, and then what? Spoiler alert! If you have not read this by now, Shutter, or seen the movies, hey, I mean, even in this, you know, Thanos, after all this happened, he was a farmer. That was his piece to be a farmer. So the movies took that directly from this comic book as well.
yeah.
So yeah, the other thing, again, because when Starlin wasn't doing this, the whole cosmic landscape kind of ebbed and flowed with Starlin. So when he wasn't doing it, no one else was really doing it, or if they did, no one cared, and sales were horrible on it. So they kind of like the cosmic landscape kind of faded away until you really got to Annihilation. So Annihilation is another great one to read. This reset the whole entire cosmic landscape and built it all back up to what we know now. So this is where you get, you know, obviously Drax killing Thanos. You know, you get all of the um, pretty much death of pretty much everything you possibly could think of coming through here, and it really focused on smaller characters. So you got Drax is no longer the really dumb brute who was during the whole Silver Surfer run and through the '90s. You know, he becomes an intelligent assassin. You know, with the knives and everything. You get that from here. You get Nova becoming relevant and becoming really powerful and cool again. You get who else was in there? Rocket and Groot actually come back and actually become relevant, and that's where you get Guardians of the Galaxy and everything
Guardian
becomes
Galaxy
popular.
came from this. Yeah,
Yeah, it all came from these series. And Joe Quesada admitted when he was running Marvel before all that, why the cosmic stories were not such a big part is because he didn't like cosmic stories. It didn't resonate with him. He didn't like them, and he didn't want to push them. So unless Starlin was doing it, he pretty much was like, "We don't really care. We're not going to push them," and that's why nothing really happened all that eventful in the cosmic landscape. Even with Annihilation when it came out, they still were like, we don't care. So they put it at the same time as Civil War. So Civil War was the big thing going on during this time. So these books got overlooked quite a bit. But the impact that Annihilation has had goes well beyond what Civil War has. And you can still see that today with Annihilation. Because this really was this whole rebirth in 2006 with a team of writers that really did it on here. And whoops. Yep. I just skipped out of that one. So that's okay. I shut that down. But yeah, Nova kills Annihilus. Drax kills Thanos. So you had a really good story right there that, Annihilus cleared the board for everyone. They burned it all down. They brought it up. And the difference between this compared to, say, Infinity Gauntlet, you're talking about Thanos already had, the Infinity Gauntlet. He was God. and it was the whole story is basically what does he do with the power of God, and that was the whole thing. With Annihilus, it was all those ground level troops. It was Star Lord, it was Drax. It was more the smaller level, lower tiered heroes and how they're going to survive this onslaught that's coming. And that's all it basically was. And that seemed to resonate a lot more with people. And it really set up the landscape to what you see now.
Yeah. And I'm not sure what the story is with Starlin and Marvel. I know that in the 2010s, look at that. That's great. In the 2010s, there were a couple of Starlin Thanos stories that came out. I remember it's kind of like an Elseworld story where Thanos did
Yep.
court death and
Yeah, there was like a god listening above, and there was a couple other ones. And from what my understanding with those was, it was basically Starlin, I guess for all sense and purposes, peeing around Thanos and saying, "This is my character. Screw off. Don't mess with
yeah.
him." So
So
that's
so what Marvel did to appease Starlin is they let him put these books out.
yes, yeah,
So if you have not read these, they're freaking amazing for one. And they put them out in hardcover only. They weren't in comics or anything. And they got a bit overlooked, but I, of course, am a huge Starlin fan. So there's the Thanos, the Infinity Revelation, the Infinity Relativity, and then the Infinity Finale. So this is an amazing storyline. I think there's supposed to have been 4 books. I don't think they ever did a 4th one, but yeah, it's this is just some of the most amazing stuff. This was like 2014, 15, and 16, if I'm not mistaken.
that sounds right.
So yeah, these books, they're only in hardcover, but I would search these out. They, like I said, I think there's supposed to be a 4th one. They kind of did Starlin wrong, and he didn't do it. But yeah, these are amazing reads.
Yeah, and until you get into, in my mind, until Donny Cates, comes on and takes over and does some cool different things. Again, I don't know if Starlin likes what he did with it, but at least it brought some more interest back into Thanos again and the whole cosmic landscape. But some of those stories were kind of cool.
Yeah, well, apparently, they wouldn't. Something. The story behind these was something like I said, some of these was kind of like Elseworld stories. Like they wouldn't let Starlin mess with, what was going on in the regular. So they kind of let them do these, which are set off outside of
Right.
type thing. So I'm not even sure if these are part of canon or not.
I don't think they are.
I don't think they are either.
Yeah.
But it's super great stuff. So
Yeah, like I said, I'm with you. Any Starlin stuff, I'm always going to be there.
yeah,
I've always liked his stuff and the cosmic stuff, like I said, in the 70s and 80s, I always loved that. The Adam Warlock stuff. When you got past that into like the Infinity Watch after all that, I wasn't a huge fan of that.
yeah, the Infinity Watch was not very good, but for me, I was I was born in 69. So here I am reading Warlock in like 75, 76, 77, right? I'm an 8-year-old kid and I'm just drawn in by this psychedelic art and this little troll Pip smoking a cigar and this hot chick Gamora, and I mean I'm just and Warlock looks like a freaking a glam rocker or something, right? With a feathered hair. And
Yep.
I mean, it
He's
just,
Space Jesus.
yeah, man. And, I've got a warlock and, statue up here, it's, yeah, loved it, definitely, shaped, this kid for the rest of his life. Maybe not in the best way, but
Well, you kind of got the Adam Warlock hair going, so yeah, I can see how that worked.
yeah, I feathered my hair in the 80s. I'll admit it. Heck yeah, I had it going on, man.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you guys like stuff like this, and like I said, we're very top level of all this stuff right now, but we can go like really deep dive, and we can, like I said, we want to try and keep these under 45 minutes if all possible, but we can actually do like a Thanos 3-part thing, talk about all those stories that we didn't mention and his whole history, and we can do that for each one of the heroes and villains. But I figure I want to keep this kind of easy and light and just kind of throw out some of the Thanos information there, see what you guys think about it. If you like it like this level, we can keep it like this one. Or if you want a little bit more deep dive, we can go a little more deep dive for you. But again, that was something we want to do. Again, 38 minutes already into it. I can't seem to get it below a half an hour no matter what I try.
I'm not sure why we're trying, but
well, just for the length of time. We know a lot of people don't watch more than 45 minutes of a show.
That's true.
So just trying to break it down in smaller bite-sized pieces, for everyone on there. And it's, of course, it's always easier for us too. It's easier to put together a half an hour show than an hour show.
Yeah.
Even if we try half an hour, it still goes an hour.
Yeah.
We're talking about it. So
yeah. So yeah, y'all let us know. Let us know if y'all want to know more about thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, let us know if you want to go into more of a deep dive, maybe do a whole bibliography of everything. Like I said, I remember, the Bronze Age stuff, the Cosmic Cube stories were so great.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. And it may be, maybe it's being, looking back on it from a
nostalgic
10, 12-year-old mind, versus
I'm still on a 10, 12-year-old mind. What is up? Stuntman's in the building. What's up,
hey,
Fox,
Matthew?
Man?
What's up, my friend?
Yeah, I mean, it's, and I thought about doing it instead of like doing these heroes and villains. We talk about this. I actually thought about doing like how I used to collect back then. And a lot of it was I followed people. So I'd follow Starlin, whatever he wrote, I would go find that out. Or, Todd McFarlane, when he started out, I would collect, Infinity and Coyote and all the other ones that he did. And that was, if he did a Marvel Tales cover, I went and had to find that and get that one. So, I mean, I was thinking about doing something like that. If we did like a Starlin one and just talked about all his stuff that he's done and broke it up over like 4 parts over like a month or something.
So Shutterduck suggested doing our personally favorite characters. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. One of these days might get into a deep dive of Fantastic Four. Who knows? But
you can talk for days on that one too. Thank you, Dog Man. I appreciate it, buddy.
Right now I want to try and get my epic history of comics.
We still got a couple episodes left on that one. Let's see. Chris is the ruler of the giveaway realm. He is the Mephisto of the giveaway realm.
There you go. But yeah, we probably got about four more episodes in that one coming. So next week we'll be talking about some of those characters that are not Superman and Batman from the Golden Age. So
what? There are other characters besides them?
There were other characters besides them that started out in the 1930s. So we're going to look at those characters. They're not cartoons, and they're not Superman and Batman.
I love it, man. More good information. So next week we're going to be on Shelby's channel over there. So make sure you follow Shelby as well. And then what else you got going on? I know you've got we got to get your link. I'll drop your link down below right here. You've got your Pop Shop Live coming up.
I do. So hey, really, you guys, if y'all are looking for another place to purchase comics or hang out or, be part of a community, there's an app that is not whatnot called Pop Shop Live. You can download that at your favorite place to get apps, whether you are Apple or I don't know,
Android.
would you call it Android still, or I'm not sure. Google, maybe it's Google now. Go to the
Android.
Google store and download Pop Shop Live, and it's going to ask you for a phone number. That's how you sign up. And then it's going to ask you for a seller code and type in Shelby. Please type in Shelby. So I have a show coming up December 1st. It'll be at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I need to get at least 10 people signed up through that way for them to advertise it publicly. If I get 20 people, then they're going to do a shipping free or a free shipping show. So everything you purchase will be free shipping. So
I remember Sergeant Rock. Dog. I never got into Sergeant Fury, but Sergeant Rock I definitely got into for a while.
Yeah, Sergeant Rock was DC, and I actually just got this in today.
Ah, look at that.
So, but what's great about this is, and the person that sold it to me said, yeah, it's a Mark Jeweler, but this is 1972. So we know that really it's a National Diamond Sales.
Yes, indeed.
Not a Mark Jeweler. So,
K-pop, what is up, K-pop? Welcome over.
So, and the great thing about National Diamond Sales, you can buy a ring for your loved one, but also lingerie. Lingerie. So, a little something for you, or a little something for her, and a little something for you. But both are for her.
That is right. Yep, before the Mark Jewelers.
Yeah. So yeah, they actually wrote on the back Mark Jeweler. It's like, nope, that's National Diamond Sales. But yeah, we're not abandoning our other sales channels and stuff, but please, ask y'all as a friend, go download that Pop Shop Live app, enter your phone number to get registered, and then use the seller code Shelby, because that helps me out quite a bit. So that'll be December 1st, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can watch it from your phone. You can watch it from the website. So you can go to popshop.live, which is really great to be able to do that. You can see inventory of what the person is selling, and then I'll be doing some great auctions and stuff. Jeff's actually seen a little bit of preview some of the things that I've been pulling out. So yeah, I'm not only going to be able to sell comics. I've got a bunch of pops. I've got toys, a bunch of toys that I've been pulling out. So, definitely just trying to expand, what I do. It's kind of a sad number, Lacrusis. I'll be honest with you. With over 1,200 followers on IG, I would thought that I would be a little bit higher by now, but it's a kind of a pitiful number right now. It's only 6. So I need some help. So go get your sister, go get your mom, your brother, your cousins, tell them to download the app. Do that seller code Shelby, and I appreciate it. I'll also be, I see who signs up. If you DM me, I will do a percentage off for you guys on some upcoming things. So try and repay the thank you in a way. Tonight I will be on Whatnot though at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'll also be on Wednesday at 10 p.m. I think you're on Wednesday at 7:30.
Yep, every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday it's 7:30 on Whatnot. tomorrow, actually, we're going to be, I don't know if you're going to be there. Tomorrow, I'm going to be popping on Thunder's show. Thunder has a 600 follower giveaway show. So it's just all going to be nothing but giveaways. So we're going to do on tomorrow's show on the Thunderdome. So make sure you guys check that out. And then, of course, on Thursdays, we do the auction on the Thunderdome as well. Otherwise, I'll be on Whatnot on that Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Giving away 9.8 slabs left and right. Yesterday, gave away a couple of them. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun over there. Another great community. So I appreciate all you guys over there. And then Shelby's venturing off into a new one in the Pop Shop Live. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see him over there.
Yeah, and I haven't gotten my invitation yet from Thunder, excuse me. I'm sure it's coming. So
I'm sure it's there.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be on there too. But yeah, so that's right. What we're up to.
Good. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us for the last 45 minutes or so. And as always, man, Shelby, take us out.
All right. With that, thank you all. We appreciate you, and peace.
Love
and comics. Thank you all. Good night.